Hi everybody. Welcome to Cooking in the Kitchen with Miss Karen. Today we're going to make molasses cookies, one of my favorites. And I have a special recipe that came out of my wedding cookbook. A bunch of friends put this together for us when we got married, and this is one of my favorite recipes in here that I always go to when I'm looking for a good cookie. So let's get started. What do we do first? Wash our hands. All right, let me just lean over here, wash my hands. Did everyone get a visit from the Easter Bunny this weekend? We had an Easter egg hunt here at my house. It was fun. Okay. All right, so let's look at our ingredients list here. We're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of shortening, which I use butter. So I melted this already. I did a couple of steps beforehand so we could do this a little bit more efficiently. So I'm going to pour the butter in here. 3/4 of a cup. That's 1.5 sticks of butter. And then I'm going to add a cup of sugar. Nice sugar here. And then we're going to stir that up. Everybody see that? I'm going to mix this up here. Okay. We're going to add all of our wet ingredients into this bowl, and then we're going to add our dry ingredients into another bowl and then add them together. Okay, so then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of molasses. Have you guys ever heard the saying, slow as molasses? Look at how slowly this pours. It's so thick and dark. Okay. There we go, and then we're going to pour that in there. Ooh, look at that molasses. Who here likes molasses? It's good stuff. I'm going to use my finger to just scoop that out. Get it all out of there. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to lick my fingers. I don't lick our fingers when we're cooking, right? Okay. I'm going to mix that up. That's just our butter and our sugar and our molasses. Ooh, doesn't that look good? It almost looks like caramel. Okay. Then we have to add an egg. 1 egg. Okay. 1 egg. And we're going to mix that in there. You guys see that? 1 egg in there. Mix, 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 mix. Okay. Then we're going to set this aside for a second. It's all nice and mixed. We're going to set this aside, and we're going to get a bowl for our dry ingredients. Okay? So we're going to have 2 cups of flour. I already measured that out, so I'm going to add that into my bowl here. 2 cups of flour. And now we're going to add our spices. So we need 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. Cloves? They smell so good. And I always do a little bit more. Remember when we were making something last week and I said, I like mine a little spicy. So 1/2 ground cloves. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. I'm going to add a whole teaspoon because I like ginger. And then a teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, I'm going to add like kind of a heaping teaspoon. Okay. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's a little much. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then a teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm going to use just a little bit less because we're at high elevation here. So a little bit less, not quite a full one. I'm going to sprinkle that in there. And I'm going to mix that up a little bit. You see that? Just to mix those spices and the baking soda around in there. in with the flour. Okay, now this is a pretty simple recipe. We take back our wet ingredients and we're gonna pour in our dry ingredients, okay? And now, we get to mix it up. You see that? I'm gonna make it so that we just mix all those dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. And it takes a minute. You kind of have to give it some good stirs and fold. This is called folding, when you take it and you fold it over. And that helps to incorporate it all in there. So I'm gonna keep mixing here until I have all that dry stuff mixed in. Okay, nice. Almost there. Okay, now, look at that, doesn't that look good? Okay, now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make balls and put it, I took a little sheet out so we could do just a few to show you guys. And I'm gonna get a little bowl of sugar because we're gonna roll our balls in a little bit of sugar. So I'm gonna get a spoon, and this is a little gooey, but that's okay. I'm gonna make a ball, and I'm gonna roll it in my sugar and put it on my pan, like that. You see that? I'm gonna have to space out our cookies here. So I'm gonna put 6 on this pan, and I did something kind of tricky. I made a batch of this a little earlier so that I can show you guys what they look like when they come out. And we don't have to do this video in two parts. I'm gonna roll up my dough. Nice little like tablespoonful or so, maybe a little bit more. I'll show you what size balls I'm making here so you guys can see about that size. Kind of like a ping pong ball. I know Aiden's been playing ping pong at home on his dad's new ping pong table. A golf ball, maybe a small golf ball. One more after this. And then we're gonna bake these at 375 for about 10 minutes. I like them a little chewy, so I usually take them out after like 9 minutes or so. Okay, all right, so then we have them here, and I'm gonna put them in the oven, and I'm gonna show you the ones that I've taken out of the oven. Ooh, look at these guys. Here's our cooked cookies. Don't those look good? Molasses cookies. Should we try one? Mmm. Tastes like something your grandma would make. They're so good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this today. Have fun baking your cookies. And we'll see you tomorrow for reading. Bye-bye, everybody.